To this event of launching the new issue of our journal of the Romanian Diplomatic Institute journal called România Occidentală, Western Romania. I am very happy to have besides me His Excellency Altan, the Ambassador of Turkey, of Turkey, and Ambassador Baruhashvili from Georgia, and Mr. Director, Political Director from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Sebastian Mitrache. And I would like to thank them for participating in this event. I'm Director General of the Institute, and I would like to start by congratulating my colleagues, Delia Voicu and Director Dragoș Mateescu, for their fantastic work in putting together this edition of our journal, which is dedicated to the Black Sea. I am sure that the discussions are going to be very interesting, particularly that we invited Their Excellencies to have a word. I will stay for some time, but because of my eye condition, I will have to apologize for leaving behind me Director Mateescu to replace me. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank you.
Allow me to start from here because the sound also is better. First of all, welcome. It's an important day that we need to mark also because, thank you, because today Muslim people of the world celebrate what is called in Arabic Eid, what in Turkish is called Bayram. So we have to say first of all Eid Mubarak and the Bayramlar. I don't know about other Orthodox people, but our Orthodox people celebrate Peter and Paul, the same for the Greek people. So happy anniversary to the Peters and the Pauls. And I want to say a few words about the journal, but of course before anything else I want to welcome Their Excellencies and thank for their presence. The Ambassador of Georgia, Tamar Beruchashvili, the Ambassador of Turkey, Mr. Özgür Altan, and our Political Director, of course, Sebastian Mitrache. It's an honor for us to have them, but also you distinguished guests. About the journal, this is the second volume. Last year we had 2 issues. Today this is the first issue dedicated to the Black Sea, with a very interesting approach from different perspectives, and I want to thank also our colleague Ilana Racheru for doing a wonderful interview with Oleksiy Rebrian, the Vice Prime Minister of Moldova for integration. Also we have text from Claudiu Degeratu, a very important voice with a great expertise in the Ministry of Foreign, with the Ministry of Defense of Romania, in fact. Looking beyond the conflict, unfortunately we had to modulate the content around the conflict. Our colleague Valentin Nicolescu is present here. Thank you, Vali, for challenges, analysis of challenges and the American strategy that is emerging toward the Black Sea. Georgia Vishan, former colleague, now working for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, with details about the naval warfare in the Black Sea. And by the way, you have details in the English abstracts. Then Lucian Dumitrescu, with comparing the strategic approaches of Romania and Turkey to the Black Sea. Our colleague Alexandru Ionuț Drăgulin, here present, analyzing the strategic partnership of Romania and Turkey at the Black Sea. And we are honored to also have in this issue a material in English signed by Mr. Farid Shafiev, who is director of the Diplomatic Academy in Baku, together with two colleagues, Vasif Husseinov and Shamar Hajiev, sorry. And we announce also with a small analysis the summit of the initiative of the 3 Cs in September 2023 by colleague Claudio Codrano, also present, thank you. Ana Maria Fuduli, who was in the ministry, now serving in a diplomatic position in Kiev for the European Union mission there, signs a correspondence from Kiev, a very interesting correspondence from Kiev, I should say, because it's from the front line in many respects. Colleague Mihai Constantinescu, who we are proud of for being our representative of the European Diplomatic Academy, being born, in fact, and for the first reunion of the Academy there. He is representing us, and he signs a correspondence from Brussels. Then Valentina Anfushkan, who is present here, thank you for coming, analyzing in this rubric of historical dossier, a diplomatic document to the secret accord between Great Britain and Russia from 18th of March 1915 regarding the Istanbul and the Straits, and ending with thank you, Anil, for coming, a book review, a book that was quite successful, Graham Wilson, Thucydides' Trap. Not to finish before I mention the fact that there is also a rubric with the activity of the Romanian Diplomatic Institute, signed by our chief editor, Delia Voicu, here present. Of course, reaching here, I will conclude saying that we have to thank our editorial board. All the colleagues that you heard the names have contributed also as editors. The selection is simple, quality material that goes through a process of editing and ending eventually with contributions from each other and culminating with Delia's editor-in-chief work, which is quite annoying, I must confess to you, because after we think we do a very good job with our materials and with our individual editing, she returns our text full of red corrections that unfortunately are all correct. But of course we rely on her work. Everything ends with the wonderful job of the editors at the publishing house, Monitorul Oficial. I want to greet and thank you for coming Mrs. Ivashku, who represents, he's the chief editor actually at Monitorul Oficial Publishing House, and you can see the quality of the job being done. That's all I needed to mention here. Thank you again for coming, dear guests, Your Excellencies, thank you for attending, and I would pass the floor now to our political director, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Seban Mitrake, with your permission. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Mr. Mateescu, and I'm very glad to be here. My gratitude for the invitation to the Director General of the Romanian Diplomatic Institute. Mr. Mateescu, you did a very good advertisement to the journal, and I look forward to read it. And indeed, this is something that we need, and I'm very glad that this. I'm attending this launching of the Romania Occidental volume, which is dedicated to the Black Sea. Because, I'm working in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for about 25 years already, and about 20 years of this, career were dedicated to the Black Sea security, among others. I spent 12 years in NATO headquarters, and, Black Sea security was one of my top priority in the job that I did there. I am very honored to be in the company of such distinguished audience and along with their excellencies, ambassadors of Turkey and Georgia. Congratulations to Ambassador of Turkey for the celebration today. And I'm glad that you are celebrating with us here at the Romanian Diplomatic Institute. Yeah. And well, this new number of Romania Occidentală is a testimony of the tremendous work the Director General Ileana Popescu and her team are doing at the Romanian Diplomatic Institute. And I should say that besides the training programs for the Romanian diplomats and the representative of the Romanian institutions, which are very much appreciated and we count very much on them, we value very much as well the research activities, and Romania Occidentală is a very valuable platform for us, the practitioners, but also for other interested public to take advantage of such intellectual work. I know the wide-ranging spectrum of topics dedicated to the Black Sea covered by the review, as Mr. Matescu well said. The Russian aggression against Ukraine, the American strategic vision on the region, comparative strategies of Romania and Turkey and their strategic partnership, which value very much, the relationship between Azerbaijan and the European Union, the Three Seas Initiative, which this is an important topic on our agenda as Romania this year with the summit and the business forum in September, and so on. You mentioned the articles, and as I said, I look forward to read them, and I scheduled to do it this weekend. All of these topics are of great significance in the current context. Since we became a member of NATO and the EU, we, Romania, work on the objective of enhancing the profile of the Black Sea on the agendas of the two organizations. The Black Sea has a more prominent profile these days, which is only natural given what is happening in Ukraine. Romania has for years advocated for more focused attention on the region. We have been proven right by a dark reality, unfortunately. NATO has included the Black Sea among the areas of strategic importance for the alliance, as reflected in the strategic concept adopted in Madrid last year. The EU, at its turn, has reoriented many of its mechanisms to take into account the challenges in the Black Sea and the Eastern Europe. The US is working on a dedicated strategy for the region. France also has a Black Sea strategy. The world itself has started to notice the importance of the region, if only following the convoluted negotiations aimed at establishing and prolonging, under the UN umbrella, and with the crucial contribution of Turkey, the mechanism for grains exports from Ukraine, the Black Sea Grain Initiative. Highlighting the Black Sea strategic importance in the international fora was not at all an easy task. From a NATO perspective, it is relevant how the Black Sea importance grew on the agenda, slow but steadily. And I think the NATO communiques, starting with the 2004, are reflecting this evolution. Let me just make a short inventory of this. And as I said, the first reference on the region was in the 2004 Istanbul Summit communique, and it was a very succinct one, referring to the Black Sea as important Euro-Atlantic security. This reference was then repeated in the next summit's communiques until 2014, when after the illegal annexation of Crimea, the Wales Summit Declaration described the Black Sea as an important component of the Euro-Atlantic security. Then the Warsaw Summit in 2016 took significant decisions on building the allied posture on the eastern flank, enhance forward presence in the Baltic countries and Poland, and tailor forward presence in the Black Sea region. The next summit's communique reflected the adaptation of the NATO posture in the Black Sea region as part of the overall posture on the eastern flank. And finally, as I mentioned, the Madrid Summit strategic concept adopted last year refers to the Black Sea as an area of strategic importance to the alliance. Security is the main driver behind the attention granted these days to the Black Sea. Why is that is very obvious. We have in this region a hot conflict with global consequences. A war of aggression waged by a UN Security Council permanent member on a peaceful nation, a UN Security Council member which was supposed to be a pillar of the international order. Every single country in the world should feel at least challenged by the Russian conduct. And, well, they should take, and we all should take the relevant lessons and act accordingly. We in Romania have long been advocating for more attention to the behavior of Russia. The countries in the Eastern Europe are the best seismic sensor for that world has to monitor the earthquakes of Russian aggressiveness. But only now the world has understood that, despite previous crises, such as the aggression of Russia against Georgia in 2008. For us, the security implications of the Russian aggressiveness go beyond the impact of the rule-based international order. We face concrete, tangible security threats we need to counter. Romania is a NATO and EU member. It enjoys the highest possible protection and is part of a unified alliance and a firm union. We are prepared to defend our territory and combat the hybrid threats. We are investing in common efforts of both NATO and the EU. The European Council convened today has Ukraine on its agenda, as will the NATO summit in Vilnius in 11-12 of July. We are part of the efforts to strengthen the defense of the allied territory on our own territory, but also with contributions in other allied countries. The NATO summit will bring this work forward. But the war in Ukraine is not the only conflict in the area. Other so-called protracted conflicts, such as those in Transnistria and the illegally occupied territories of Georgia, need to be granted due attention and solved. But besides all these negative security aspects, let me mention also elements of a positive agenda. These were overall the elements we hope and we tried to build on as connectivity, energy security and energy supply, and economic cooperation. The war in our neighborhood, while rightly putting the focus on security aspects regarding the Black Sea, offers also a new perspective on the importance of these dimensions. One area which even before the war in Ukraine helped maintain the Black Sea in the loop was connectivity. We have in this field a great history of cooperation with our partners in the region, particularly Turkey, Georgia, and Azerbaijan, which we intend to continue and enrich further. And maybe the topic of connectivity in the region could be in the focus of the future issue of the Romanian Diplomatic Institute Journal. Romania has always tried to bring closer, by means of connectivity, the countries around the Black Sea and encourage cooperation even further across the Caspian Sea, which we see as naturally linked to our region. Whether in gas or more recently in electric cables, such as the one for which the Memorandum of Understanding was signed last December with the participation of the European Commission, we have had important successes. We are confident that more will come on this. But the topic of connectivity has acquired a new dimension with the war in Ukraine on at least two levels. One is that of ensuring supply for Ukraine and the Republic of Moldova, affected by the aggression. The other is that of ensuring links needed, including in the future reconstruction of Ukraine. Romania is well placed to contribute to all these efforts to consolidate connectivity across the region, and we will continue to do that. Let me end by saying that getting to know better the challenges and the efforts Romania and others are deploying in order to face these challenges is paramount. I think that, including through the intellectual contribution brought by România Occidentală, the Romanian Diplomatic Institute brings an important value added to that enterprise. The Romanian Ministry of Foreign Affairs has an obvious role to play in all these areas, and we do that using inter alia the expertise the Romanian Diplomatic Institute is offering. An expertise of a high level, as witnessed today, on which we count in the future too. At your turn, count on the Ministry and on me personally, among the subscribers to your publications, and in general a supporter of the Romanian Diplomatic Institute activities. Thank you so much and good luck in future endeavors. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for your kind words, first of all, that we hope we deserve, Mr. Nitrakeu, and I'm moving toward our next guest, His Excellency Altan, Ambassador of Turkey to Romania, around the Black Sea, from the south, and then we end up in the west. Thank you.
Thank you. Continue from here.
Please, as you wish.
Bună ziua tuturor, very nice to see you. Thank you for the invitation today. Thank the Romanian Diplomatic Institute. Thank you, Mr. Director General, for your political director, for your remarks and your introduction also. Hello, Ambassador. Good to see you once again. It's a really interesting work that you put together. It's comprehensive, and my assistant had a very long time to translate bits and pieces, at least which are relevant to us, and then she did a good job so that I can understand the analysis that is put forward here, It's an interesting work. I don't subscribe to all of it, of course, but it's good brainstorming, good analysis, or a really good try. Marea Neagra, zona de conflict sau cooperare, pentru noi este sigur, este zona de cooperare. This is at least what we are going to work for as Turkey. This is for sure all of our efforts, not today when there is war, unfortunately, but since last 30 years we've been trying to set up an area of cooperation through a number of initiatives. But just to put it into context, and also in the work there's lots of reference to the relations between Turkey and Romania. I will make just a brief summary of how we see our relations first, because it's also important in the context of the wider situation in Romania. We have a very positive feeling about Romania. We think that we have excellent relations. Of course, every friend has a different thoughts on an issue or two, but essentially it is driven by the understanding of win-win on a host of issues. First of all, it's the historical friendship. Yes, we have a history of 500 years. It was not always rosy, but the fact that it has not left a bitter taste now, and to the contrary, it has come to a great feeling of friendship, is really remarkable from our perspective. We have a very deep human-to-human touch relation with Romania, and we value this very much. Even the fact that Hagi and Popescu, the two very famous football legends, they were part of Galatasaray, and now everybody thinks themselves as also part of Turkey, so Turkey. And I think this is the overall thought of approach of the Turkish people to Romania. Whenever there is a Bayram holiday, like now, we have hundreds of motorcyclists roaming Transylvania, and even now we have some guests from Ankara. So this is how it is in general. And we supported, of course, Romanian NATO membership when it was important about 20 years ago. Even before that, we had no hesitation whatsoever. For us, this was very clear. In the 90s, in its first years after the Soviet time, and also today, of course, our leaders were very close. It was the time of Süleyman Demirel, as you know, and they had a very good relationship. The Turkish and Tatar community living, Turks and Tatars, they are from the history, they have been here. They live in a wonderful environment called the Dobruja model. They are able to express their ethnic origin, their religious background, their linguistics, their tradition, and we are very thankful for this. They are an integral part of Romania, this is for sure. They respect the law-abiding people, but they are happy because they can express themselves. And this is valuable, and I think it should be also an example for many other countries. But they are not the only Turkish community, the Tatar community. We also have Turks from Turkey coming more by the numbers. We have, I think, to our estimate, it's somewhere between 20 to 25,000 people. They're also very happy. They establish their families, they establish their businesses, they're really successful, law-abiding, tax-paying, good people, making a great contribution on every walk of life. So we're really happy, and as an ambassador for me, to have such a vibrant and rich in every sense Turkish-Romanian community, I tell them, is a huge advantage because anything we organize, we have hundreds of people, hundreds of establishments, companies that want to contribute to the friendship between Turkey and Romania. So we have many fields of cooperation between our countries. Irregular migration, to give an example, it used to be a problem a couple of years ago. Recently, when I visited the authorities here, they were thanking because this problem now is not there. We don't have a problem at this moment. I hope it never. And this was thanks to also very vigorous Turkish efforts. And this is a good thing. Of course, this should continue because irregular migration is a problem for all of us, as we know. And when NATO abruptly left Afghanistan to the extremists there, unfortunately, now this is again a problem for our entire continent and also for Turkey. On a daily basis, we have to deal and tackle with this issue in cooperation, of course, with the European Union, but also among the countries, Turkey, Greece, Turkey, Bulgaria, Turkey, Romania. This is all important, in my opinion. And a good level of dialogue is there. This is a fact. We have great cultural and educational cooperation. There's the Dimitri Kantemir Cultural Center in Istanbul doing a great job. And here we have Yunus Emre Cultural Institute in Bucharest and also in Constanza. Lots of student exchange, Erasmus people, the telenovelas here, I hear, and sometimes I don't watch them. People ask me questions. I have difficult time in answering, so now I watch them more to be ready for questions. And we have a great police cooperation at every level, from the top between the interior ministers at every level. They fight against organized crime, they fight against human trafficking, they fight against narcotic mafia people, and they also take good results. So this is really important. We have obviously intelligence cooperation and good dialogue between our intelligence organizations at every level, top to bottom. Energy dialogue is very important. Energy security is very important. Connectivity, as you put forward, is very important. And here I think we have good dialogue, but it could be even better. And we are in contact. I will be visiting the new Minister of Energy, and we will try to organize some bilateral visits and contacts. We are ready to do more. We are ready to engage more. We have 5 very big LNG terminals, and of course there's the TANAP pipeline and so forth. So there is a need for more cooperation, I think, in this field, and we are ready to do it. We even have good cooperation in healthcare, and there is interest to do more. Turkish companies, Turkish hospitals are very much involved with providing their services to Romanian people. They even come here and establish their presence over here as hospitals, as testing centers. So they have good communication lines for giving first opinion, second opinion, and I think this is also a good human-to-human touch. We are very thankful to the Romanian, of course, also to Georgia, because also Georgia helped us a lot after the very unfortunate earthquakes, but also to Romania, obviously, because the first morning I was trying to still understand the magnitude of this disaster. I received a phone call from my good friend Raif Arafat. He said he was instructed by the Prime Minister, and lots of search and rescue teams were on their way. We went to the airport immediately. It was a very emotional moment for me, of course, to greet them to Turkey. But also, of course, other countries like Georgia and Greece, in fact. So we are always thankful for this help. But if this would happen, God forbid, anywhere else, we are always ready to do this. We have shown it in many disasters around the globe. When there was COVID, there was a dire need for masks here in Romania, and we despite the fact that it was not allowed to take mask because everybody was looking for it, for Romania we made an exception and we sent tens of thousands, immediately dispatched them. In civil aviation we have perfect cooperation. I don't know how many flights there are to Istanbul from Bucharest every day. We have 3 Turkish Airlines, maybe 3 or 2 Romanian airlines. So at least 5, 6 to Cluj, 5 every week, to Constanța 4 every week. So we are really well connected, and this is a good way to boost our people-to-people contacts. Needless to say, we are NATO allies. For a long time, we've been cooperating as allies. I was at NATO for 8 years, 4 years in the NATO HQ, and one of the best dialogues and understandings we had as ally was with Romanian allies on a number of issues. Of course, we have good military cooperation, very deep military cooperation, training, education, exercises. Even our divers now are off the coast of Constanța today to attend a big exercise over there. And of course, our military intelligence cooperation is also in place. We are very much in dialogue concerning Ukraine. We have, I think, similar approach. We completely support the territorial integrity of Ukraine. And Turkey was from day one, and even before day one, we were very supportive of our Ukrainian friends. But also from a Turkish perspective, we have a line of communication and constant contacts with the Russians, our leaders, the Turkish President Erdogan, and President Putin. They are in contact because on the Turkey side, we still believe in the diplomatic solution. We still believe, while we agree with Ukraine, of course it's their country and they have all the right to protect their country and their territorial integrity. We still hate to see the bloodshed, the fighting, and all the ramifications in Europe and around the world. We have good defense industry with Romania, and this is picking up, in my opinion. TB2s are a good start. It's a strategic thing, I think. We have the best value for technology, and as opposed to many other countries, we are also willing to share technology, make offset agreements, and not all the countries, not all the companies can do this. This is a good advantage, and we are happy to share this with our allies. Turkish FDI in Romania is close to $8 billion US. It's a very large number for our economy, and every day I have new Turkish companies coming and asking, shall we put our money, shall we invest in Romania? And my answer is always, there is a great environment here. Yes, sometimes some problems because they say bureaucracy is taking long time, some license and sorts. But I tell them, kurab dare, and with good cooperation, you can always have a good environment for business. So I really encourage them. And sometimes in Turkey they say, why there is an imbalance in this investment? We should have more investment from Romania this time, because in the book it says that there's an imbalance about the trade volume. So sometimes you should also approach issues from the other perspective. The same applies in terms of investment for Turkey. But I am here to also encourage this because it's a win-win, in my opinion. The Turkish companies who are here at every level, they are doing a wonderful job. I think they are employing more than 50,000 people. They are one of the champions of the exports, Romanian experts. One example, of course, is Ford Craiova. It's a wonderful Romanian-American Turkish joint activity, and it's a investment now with the new investments more than $1 billion. The Arctic company, they are doing wonderful job. Top-notch technology. There is no almost human presence inside the factories, and but also the ones that they are there, really they're happy. So we look at this from a win-win basis. Yes, there is a great trade volume, more than 10 billion US dollars. So apart from the EU, we are #1 trade partner of Romania, and we are proud about this. As an ambassador, I will try my best to make it better. And it's a challenge, but I think there is great potential. One of the advantages we have is that we have 17,000 Turkish companies in Romania, and these 25,000 Turkish people living here. So they generate a lot of trade. And sometimes, okay, you look, there's an imbalance, maybe 7 billion there, 3 billion here, but some goods, it's really global. When you buy a particular product from a Ford factory in Turkey, it's half American, half Turkish, and on whose count this goes is always open to debate. It's a global world. It's up for competition, and wherever we can do both to bring this to a balance, we are always ready to look at it from a constructive way. Construction of highways and critical infrastructure in Romania. This is also, I think, Turkish companies are very competitive. In the book also it says that there is some talk of our companies which are some of the best in the world. About 42, 45 of the largest 250 construction companies in the world are from Turkey. They have rebuilt our infrastructure in the last 20 years. This is obvious when you enter from Bulgaria into Turkey. Is 4 lanes this way, 4 lanes this way, forever, everywhere. And this only happened in the span of 20 years. I know this is valuable for Romania as well, and we want to make it a win-win. I love Romania. One of the things that I don't love so much is the traffic, and the difficulty is difficulty of getting from, for example, Bucharest to Cluj. And I think with this win-win, it could be a better thing. And also it's almost indicating that, okay, for example, if you win a tender of $1 billion, it's almost as if it sounds like you take this $1 billion and you go away. So you go to Miami, buy 1,000 villas of 1 million each and live happily ever after. No, this is not the case. For this 1 billion, there's a great product. There's a difficult project, and the Romanian authorities make the standards very high. So for a company to make it to that competition is very difficult, and the margin for profit is incredibly low. So compared to our company's involvements in Africa, in the Middle East, in Far East, Romania is actually profit-wise is only a small percentage, but they are competitive, and the fact that they win these tenders is only because that they can do the job, and they are doing the job actually. In the southern ring of Bucharest, for example, and also Neptune Blue, the energy pipeline, it's won by a Turkish company. It's a very difficult project. You're building this pipeline for 300 kilometers. It's not easy. And we are really glad that this is going to be another example of win-win for us. So they call this overall strategic partnership. This was in 2011, it was declared. And in 2013, there was an action plan, right? And today, now this year, at the end of the year, hopefully, we are hoping to organize the first round of high-level strategic cooperation council. So if this relation is not strategic, none of the relations can be strategic, in my opinion. Sometimes names could be meaningless. When you have the bulk of this relationship, you can call it anything. But okay, we have a strategic partnership, and we are really proud, and we are determined to take this forward. On Ukraine, let me make a few remarks. Our relations with Ukraine, which have been carried out at the level of strategic partnership since 2011, continue to develop by gaining new dimensions after the outbreak of the war. Turkey's position has been clear since the outset of the war. We remain committed to Ukraine's independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity, including its territorial waters. While we provide strong political, humanitarian, and technical support to Ukraine, we have been also warning about the escalation risks of a prolonged war. Our relations with and our support for Ukraine are well known. In fact, both Kiev and Moscow view Turkey as a reliable interlocutor. Neither side questions our intentions to broker a diplomatic way out of the current gridlock, as difficult as it may seem. So we still try to facilitate some sort of diplomacy, and I think even if we were not able to stop the war, still the grain deal has made a tremendous contribution to food security, and we will continue to do our best. It's not an easy job. Every second month now, this is going to become a new deadline, but we continue our efforts nevertheless. Also, we were able to secure a prisoner exchange deal. I think it's always good to have this humanitarian touch. So, unfortunately, after all these Istanbul talks, it didn't work, and things took a tragic turn after the atrocities in Buka and Irpin, and now they continue, of course. Both parties turned their attention to the battleground with the aim of achieving military superiority to strengthen their position at the negotiating table. All in all, we have a positive role in this, and we will continue with this policy. Let me also now come to Black Sea. Of course, Black Sea is dear to us. We are a Black Sea country. We are a proud Black Sea country. The Black Sea people in Turkey are very specific people. They are very tempered. They are very sincere. Great cuisine. So it's a very, very specific region of ours. We have the longest shoreline, as far as I know. We have the strongest navy in Black Sea, and we have the largest NATO army with also capabilities. And Turkey is obviously a NATO member, together with Greece, since 1952. Our position on Black Sea is well known. We, I think, are the guardians of the Montreux Convention. I think this convention proved a wonderful tool for a liberal regime in terms of commercial activity, and also for wartime it has been a tool, a very effective tool in making sure that conflicts do not get worse. Therefore, we are very keen on protecting the Montreux Convention. In fact, it has become even more critical because at the time that we signed, as many countries, Montreux Convention, Istanbul was a city of maybe a million, maybe less than a million. Now it's a city of 20 million people. We want to see what's going on, who's passing through, who's not passing through, warships, big warships, going for risky operations, and this is something that we don't really want, we don't really favor. So yes, we are on the conservative side, but we also support regional ownership. There is a lot of things more in the sense of regional ownership with allies, because NATO is actually very much present in the region, in the airspace, in the land. So also there are 3 allies, also Georgia as a partner, very much present in the Black Sea, but also in the airspace and also land area. There are a very strong military presence by all allies, which is okay, which is, we don't say anything to that, because I think this is true. But the maritime area is very small. It's very small, and even after the war, of course, as the guardian of the convention, let's say, we have invoked the relevant articles, and now the warships are not able to go in and out. And it could be open to discussion, but we believe that we don't have a military fireplace burning issue on the maritime area, and we want to keep it like this. This is important. No Russian ships entered since February 2022. This is important because, according to Montreux, even the littoral states can have their ships inside the Black Sea area if they are belonging to their fleets of Black Sea. But going beyond the Montreux Convention, for sake of the stability and security there, this is how it worked out, and we don't need another 25 ships from there, and also we don't need another 25 ships in this very small area. We don't need tens or hundreds of warships, because at the end of the day it's very dangerous, and we want to keep this relative stability, even if it's not perfect. So in terms of regional ownership, I think as allies, as partners in the past, in the military domain, but also in other domains, we have done a lot. Black Sea Cooperation Organization has been very instrumental to bring about really positive projects, some good areas of cooperation, but also on the military field. We had Black Sea Force, Black Sea 4, and also Black Sea Harmony, which did good jobs until, of course, the invasion and occupation by Russia of Crimea, which we completely disagree, and we tell the Russians that we do. Unfortunately, some of these initiatives became obsolete from that time. But today, I think we can do more also on that front, on the regional ownership. And I'm very glad that with Romania we have good dialogue now. I'm sure also we are having it with Bulgaria, and I'm sure we will come up with new ideas, discuss what can be done, because there is room for development on this. So dialogue among littoral states is very much important. And also, there's a lot of talk, the hype on Black Sea. This is good. Always discussion is good. What can be done? What should be done? Agreements, disagreements. But I think all of them should be done in consultation with Turkey. It would be very interesting, for example, if the EU has a Black Sea strategy without consulting with the largest littoral country and also a candidate to EU membership. And this, without a consultation, like a meaningful consultation with us, this would be nil and void from our perspective, functionally, but also in principle. So I think these initiatives that concern Black Sea must fully take into account our positions, and not only that, must be in consultation together. If there is a Black Sea legislation in the US, for example, US of course is our ally since 1952. We have been doing so much in NATO together, but Congress, if they put a legislation on the Black Sea and really not ask Turkey in a meaningful way, I think this legislation is not going to work, in my opinion. The same goes for any other Black Sea strategies. We want to make it right. We want to make Black Sea an area of cooperation, stability, but I think for this a good dialogue is very much needed. People also refer to EU compass. This is very problematic from our perspective as well, because it was not written in consultation with Turkey, whereas we are where we are as a very important center of area in a wide range of issues. So it almost considers Turkey having some issues and so forth. So it is really for us a non-starter. The EU compass for us is almost, it does not exist, to be honest with you. But to finish on a positive note, I think dialogue and more consultation, continuous dialogue is, at the end of the day, should be the motto that guides our effort in this beautiful sea that we share. And I would like to say, numai bine. Thank you.
Your Excellency, thank you for your speech, and I want to add to your stressing the human dimension of relations, the fact that you yourself are a great addition to the human dimension of our bilateral relations through this enormous capacity to communicate, if not for your wonderful nature. Thank you very much again. And now, before passing the floor to our guest, Her Excellency, the Ambassador of Georgia, on the same human dimension, I want to underline my personal perception of this country that is, I admire very much, being a country and a people that value very good wine instead of beer and very good rugby instead of football. And that's my people. So, moving to another great and very seasoned diplomat, and we are honored to have here Her Excellency Tamar Berushashvili. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Matiescu, for your very kind words. Just to make little correction. So Georgia is the oldest winemaking country, but we share very good beer as well, and we are making excellent progress not only in rugby, beating regularly our dear Romanian colleagues, but also progressing very successfully in football. And by the way, we have sport diplomacy in action, because now under 25 European competition is led and managed by Romania and Georgia. And Georgia is in the semi-final, or no? Yeah. So So, and I think it's a good opportunity also to foster people-to-people relations, and I'm very glad that you have a very good impression and the memories of Georgia, because we truly have lots to offer and share. And thank you very much for the invitation. And I would like to congratulate you with this wonderful edition. I have to confess that I had no opportunity to read the publication, just the first impression through scrolling the headlines. Unlike with the Turkey embassy, I don't have sufficient manpower for translation. So, but I'm very happy that we are on the same panel, and of course, Bună ziua to everyone, and also special welcome to the political director with whom we worked intensively on NATO issues. And I'm looking forward to read this very impressive collection of articles. Of course, I'm missing Georgia here, so therefore I believe that would be a very good opportunity to give you major highlights of our vision about Black Sea, challenges, opportunities, and what Georgia does in building close partnership of all the Black Sea countries and beyond, what we achieved and what we have in our agenda. So I believe we all agree that the current geopolitical situation in the Black Sea emerges increasingly important as the area of military, political, and economic competition. Unfortunately, Russia has chosen the region as a focal point of its challenge to international rule-based order and security arrangements. As countries like Georgia, Ukraine, and Moldova seek EU membership, Russia uses all means to destabilize them and undermine their sovereignty, including their right to an independent foreign policy. Russia's unprovoked and unjustified military aggression against Ukraine has dramatically changed the security situation in the wider Black Sea. Consequently, this region has moved into center of the European and international focus as the ongoing war threatens not only European security architecture, but creates serious political and economic for the global stability. And here I would like to use this opportunity and remind the audience that the current developments represent a continuation of the well-known pattern. Russia's invasion to Georgia in 2008 was the first major military intervention against sovereign and independent country since the collapse of the Soviet Union that resulted in occupation of 20% of our territories, Georgian regions of Abkhazia and Trimbali, South Ossetia, as well as forceful expulsion of hundreds of thousands of people from their towns and villages. And this occupation still continues and provides the very serious security threats not only to Georgia but to the wider region. I also want to mention that unfortunately that time, despite our appeals and warnings, we did not receive adequate response from the West. Fortunately, nowadays we see strong and united European and Euro-Atlantic response to Russia's aggressive actions. And after years of strategic ambiguity, the war in Ukraine led to the major shift in the perception of the Black Sea region and its role for the European and Euro-Atlantic security and stability. We already heard from the political director the comprehensive inventory what was done during the recent decade regarding Black Sea and how Black Sea as an important area is emerging in the politics and policies. We see that allies agreed to strengthen NATO's presence in the region, including by expansion, enhanced forward presence to Romania and Bulgaria. Also, the United States has increased its military posture in the region. Additionally, we see NATO and the recognition, we see Black Sea recognized as a strategically important region for NATO and its allies. Georgia welcomes all mentioned developments and highly values the special role of our strategic partners, United States, Romania and Turkey, as a responsible security providers in the Black Sea region that bears even more importance in current turbulent times. It goes without saying that Black Sea has significant impact on Georgia's security, stability, and economic development. And I want to give you 3 points. First, Georgia considers Black Sea region as a critical element of its national security. Security challenges caused by ongoing Russian occupation is a serious threat to the whole Black Sea region, which in turn undermines European security architecture. Over the years, Georgia has been actively involved in efforts to foster regional security, calling for enhanced Western engagement in the region. To this end, Georgia developed dynamic security dialogue and practical cooperation with NATO, including active participation in strategic discussion with NATO about Black Sea security, sharing intelligence information and analysis of the current situation in the region with allies on the regular basis. Additionally, Georgia participated in all relevant multilateral, regional and bilateral initiatives. A number of them were already highlighted by Ambassador. And also among them, I want to particularly stress NATO military training and exercise to increase interoperability of Georgia's military forces. So, as it was said, as we speak now, there is special exercise going on maritime issue, on diving, and the Georgian professionals are part of international group in this exercise and training, which is extremely important. So, second, Georgia, for Georgia, Black Sea region has a function of a transit point with yet unfulfilled potential. Strategic documents of Georgia underline importance of the Black Sea as a source of economic exchange, trade, investment, and tourism. Current geopolitical context has further boosted Georgia's role as a key transit hub and facilitated the enhancement of transportation and logistic linkages. These opportunities Georgia is offering to the EU in terms of connectivity through the Black Sea. Connectivity is a key priority in our agenda with the European Union, and this new connectivity artery and the old connectivity functional arteries can open alternative routes for energy supplies, freight transportation, and digital connection that obviously will lead to more resilient Europe and contribute to the effective implementation of the EU Global Gateway strategy that Georgia belongs since last year. Thirdly, in Georgia, Black Sea also considered as a geographic compass and important bridge towards NATO and European Union. Full membership in both structures remains key priority of Georgian foreign policy. It is enshrined in our constitution, and Black Sea is the only area offering to Georgia direct geographic link to the member states, Turkey, Bulgaria, and Romania. On the same line, I also want to highlight importance of the strategic partnership between Georgia and Romania that opens new geopolitical and geoeconomic opportunities for connectivity, energy security, and transportation links. Topics of bilateral connectivity and the purpose of building bridges between two continents was already mentioned by the previous speakers. And I want to highlight strategic partnership that was established last year, which prepared very solid basis for comprehensive expansion of cooperation between Romania and Georgia. And on the top of that, last year was very eventful in terms of development of strategic agreements, and among them I want to mention agreement of strategic partnership in the field of green energy development and transmission between government of Azerbaijan, Georgia, Romania, and Hungary last December, which is the first tangible outcome of our strategic partnership. This is highly important and innovating project called Under Black Sea Cable, which is supposed to be the largest and the longest the underwater cable. We hope that construction will start soon. Currently, Georgia and Romania are working very actively to continue discussion and create working group meetings that Romania will host in July. So in order to foster implementation and advance on implementation together with the European Union on real startup of this very important project of connectivity. I want to highlight also that this agreement was signed in the presence of Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, which also sent extremely important political message of support and engagement of the European Union. So in addition, Georgia and Romania are working very actively and are lead partners for development of Black Sea, Caspian Sea transportation corridor, so-called Middle Corridor, as well as regular ferry line on the Black Sea between Constanța and Poti, which actually successfully started its operation just 2 days ago. I hope this line will be attractive, will have enough interest among business circles, because this project connects not only our two countries but provides new opportunity and connectivity between European Union and Central Asian countries for more trade, more business, and more tourism. Particularly, these trade arteries extremely important for Georgia to diversify its trade relation and fully utilize the capacity of DCFTA and access to European markets, which is extremely important in the current geopolitical environment. So we also rely on Romania. It was already mentioned that Romania will host this year Three Seas Initiative Summit, and we rely on Romania to seek the ways of promoting Georgia's institutional engagement to this initiative, which on the one hand would reflect the increased importance of the Black Sea, and on the other hand would bring additional value to enhance connectivity with the European Union. Also, I want to particularly highlight our exemplary cooperation between militaries. Last year's highlight was the special bilateral agreement signed by our defense ministries. Our soldiers train and exercise together. We have special advisor which is permanently in Tbilisi in the headquarters, advising policymakers, and starting from this January, together with United Kingdom Embassy, Romanian Embassy is contact embassy for NATO that will be continued for coming 2 years. So these are exemplary relations with great potential and readiness and commitment from both sides to deepen and widen. So I also want to give you some reflections, what can be done in the future to use maximum capacity of Black Sea cooperation, but at the same time realizing that Black Sea stability and security is extremely important, not only for the region, but has wider dimension for Europe and transatlantic community. So I would like to offer some reflections. So we believe that challenging security environment in the Black Sea should be addressed with firm and consistent strategic response. In this light, we hope that US, NATO, and our Western partners maintain strategic look, put in action comprehensive strategy, and foster engagement in the region. We believe that this strategy should address regional security in all relevant domains and envisage concrete actions. We also believe that strategy should aim at developing joint mechanisms for effective tackling of disinformation campaigns, strengthening national cybersecurity system, promoting energy security, improving communication and transportation systems, and protecting critical infrastructure. From our part, Georgia stands ready to continue working with the EU and all other partners on enhancing connectivity on the Black Sea to open up alternative routes of energy supply, transportation, and digital connection that will translate into sustainable economic growth and greater European resilience. We are committed to develop joint actions in order to build common resilience of the region. Of course, we believe that the best strategy for restoration of peace and stability in the Black Sea region could only be the full political incorporation of countries like Georgia and Ukraine into the European and Euro-Atlantic family, and we are actively working on that. In this complicated regional and international context, Georgia is committed to use all its capacity to contribute to the resilience and security of the Black Sea region, and we are highly committed to build effective cooperation mechanisms with all like-minded partners. So at the very end, I want to come back to this wonderful publication and expressing hope that there will be Georgia well presented in the next issue. And on that line, I would like to thank the dear Liliana Popescu, director of the Institute, for her very timely proposal to bring together Romanian and Georgian researchers of the partner institutes of diplomacy in Bucharest and Tbilisi. So we believe this teamwork will be very important to build up better understanding about the issues of related to the Black Sea and also related to the importance of our strategic cooperation. And we already assigned relevant participants that I very much hope will start work together with Romanian collaborator very soon. So thank you very much for your attention, and again thank you very much for inviting me here. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Of course, there is a project indeed, and we hope to make it even at a specific and individualized volume, dealing particularly with the relations between Romania and Georgia and the region. I would invite, we have time for questions for our distinguished speakers. I know that there are representatives from the media here, but not only. There could be questions from anyone interested. Please, we are ready with the microphone and ready to give the floor. Questions? If, sorry?
It was straightforward.
It was straightforward. We have, please, His Excellency Mr. Ambassador Doru Costa.
Thank you. Well, you know, there is no such thing as a free lunch, so don't expect there are no questions around here. My name is Doru Costa. I'm a former diplomat, a retired ambassador, and I am with the New Strategy Center. I've been there with them for some time. Allow me to have a few remarks, just a couple of remarks. For this paper, for the magazine, or this number particularly, I think it is a very good example of how, of yet another unintended consequence of Russia's aggression against Ukraine. That is putting the Black Sea on the map. It's been there, of course, for quite a long time, I say. And it was on the map around 100 years ago, under not very auspicious circumstances, but it was there. It had been before with the Crimean Wars, and then all of a sudden, here it comes again. It is the fate of this region, particularly of the Black Sea, to come forward under pressure, under very challenging circumstances, apparently, although the name would be totally against that. It is the friendly sea, not the inimical sea, although there was a time when it was called the inimical sea. But be it as it may, I think that such an edition of the newspaper, particularly being issued by a specialized body like the Institute, deserves to be continued, and I allow myself to suggest that at one moment or another in future, but not very distant future, a joint number, a joint edition might be put forward with contributions from scholars, think tankers, analysts, preferably not official people. Sorry, I used to be one, but I've learned the use of non-official people even when I was an official, and that will be something worth I guess, quite a lot. So having said that, let me put forward a question for both the distinguished ambassadors. And Madam, I will start with you for but the question to you and to your distinguished colleague are under the shadow of the dragon in the room, not the elephant. Because my last posting was in China. So once you see China, you never forget it. And nobody forgets China at his or her own peril. So, Madam, Russia and China have a friendship without limits, quote unquote. That's statement number one. Statement number two. A couple of years back, not very long years back, I think it was 2 years, 3 years at most, there were some attempts by Chinese companies to perform and implement interesting projects in Georgia on the Black Sea coast, of all places. And there, somehow, they clashed with Russian interests. Or this is what people say. Therefore, they sort of fizzled out. The question is, how do you see Chinese interests in Georgia having in mind this friendship without limits on the one hand, and what is going on very close to Georgia and to Romania and to Turkey, by the way, which is, of course, the war in Ukraine. That was for you, Madam. Sir, China again. I told you. There are reports of Turkey's wish to join the SCO or to get closer to the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, even to gain membership. I think now it is a partner to this organization. Well, SCO is a very worthy organization, no doubt about that, which is under the very large shadow of China. Again, because China is so big. Not because of other reasons, of course. So, how would you see this presumably strengthened cooperation between Turkey and China / SCO, or the other way around, and the resumption and expansion of the cooperation with other regional entities, particularly the EU, NATO, of course, and sub-regional organizations in the Middle East, for instance. Thank you very much. There are also some 126 other questions, but they will have to wait for another opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Please, Madam.
Thank you very much for very interesting and, of course, not easy question. Not only for small Georgia that lives in a very fragile security environment, as I already mentioned, having 20% occupied and still without umbrella of NATO security and social economic solidarity with the from the European Union, continues and highly committed to its foreign policy goals, which are integration into the European Union and NATO. So, and Georgia has to navigate very turbulent waters in the current very challenging security environment. But we have a very big asset, which is our geography, that provides opportunity of linking continents and big markets. And it's not only geography. This is Georgia's open liberal policy that provides this connectivity through free trade agreements. And Georgia is among only few countries in the world having free trade agreements with China and European Union. So our policy is based on international rule-based system, develop trade, investment and commerce opportunity with our partners. That includes China, that includes European Union and all other countries in the region and further. So this is extremely important, although very sensitive, because in the times of importance of connectivity, now new concepts are emerging, like trusted connectivity, how far you trust your partner in development your business and in development your close partnership. So we are also very cautious about this element. Although Georgia is a central part of this connectivity flow project, is launching initiative on the Silk Road, actually continuing, and there will be conference by the end of the year, end of October, regarding Silk Road, that exactly will analyze current opportunities of new partnership, considering modern challenges, and also opportunities for Georgia to develop new connectivity for more security and more common resilience. So I said that we are open based on rule-based relations for partnership, but of course our priority is to see more engagement of our Western allies, because for us it's extremely important. I want to highlight trusted connectivity partnership in all domains. Therefore, I particularly highlighted our connectivity priority through the Black Sea with the European Union. I don't know whether I answered your question, but I believe I highlighted major priorities.
Thank you, Madam. Sir?
Thank you, sir, for your question. Shanghai Cooperation Organization, China. I think we should start by saying that we are now in conformity with our central location, trying to pursue a foreign policy with a multi-dimensional foreign policy. Of course, we are NATO members, NATO allies. We are proud of that. And of course, we are candidate for EU membership, and this continues to be a strategic goal for Turkish foreign policy, despite the difficulties. But this does not stop us from looking for other partnerships, looking for other cooperations. One area is Africa. We started this. We have now 42 embassies, or 43 in Africa. We will continue to do more. Also with Latin America, but also we now have Asia New policy, And within this policy, we also try to establish new linkages. It doesn't mean that when we try to establish this linkage or try to look for observers' position, try to look for memberships, it doesn't mean that we agree completely with all the policies of all the members of these states. This is not the case. When we disagree, we always tell it outright. But we also in Asia see really remarkable opportunities, and also I think Silk Road, Belt and Road, these are part of this. I think all our populations can gain from more connectivity, more energy security, energy flow, more flow of goods, railroads, highways being connected, and I think we should, I look at it from that perspective. But that said, it's also not very high on our agenda on a daily basis. We don't discuss this issue in Turkey, but okay, it's there. This is fact. So you allude to, but it does not completely take our energy at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? We will welcome other questions. Okay, if not, I want to conclude, if I may so, by saying that I hope we offered the audience today a snapshot from a multidimensional snapshot, in fact, about the Black Sea, with the journal proposing some viewpoints, some perspectives, with our distinguished guest speakers here from the highest possible level of their representation, offering also wonderful perspective. And as our political director, Mr. Mitraki, has also underlined, I hope we managed to picture this Black Sea of connectivity, this Black Sea of cooperation, prefigured more than the current predominance of the image of conflict. I hope to do a good job in the future, even more going into more details. But for now, thank you for participation. We are open to discussions. Also, we can continue after this meeting. Thank you, the distinguished guests. Have a good evening. Thank you.